Number 1 says, figure JKLMN was translated to form figure J prime, K prime, L prime, M prime, and N prime. Which of the following best describes the translation? So the first thing I need to do is see which one is my old one and which one is my new one. I know that my new one has the primes, so I'm going to label this new and this one old. And then I'm going to look over at my chart, or my graph, excuse me. We are going from this guy to this guy. So I'm going to choose 2 points. I like M, so I'm going to choose new M to old M, and I'm going to count. From old M to new M, I'm going up 1, 2, 3, and I write it out to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 left. So then I go to my answer choices. A says 11 right and 3 down. No. B says 11 left and 3 down. No, because I'm going up. C says 11 left and 3 up. That is the correct answer. And D says 3 units right and 11 up. No. So we're going to go with C. Now you try. On number 2 on the test, it said quadrilateral ABCD is shown on the coordinate grid below. If quadrilateral ABCD is reflected across the x-axis, which of the following best represents a vertex of the resulting quadrilateral? So I think to myself, I know a vertex is a point, and I also know which one my x-axis is. So I'm going to draw a red line on my x-axis just so I'm sure that I'm flipping over the x and not over the y. So if I'm reflecting over the x-axis, I know it's going to be a mirror image over my horizontal axis, and that if I fold that horizontal axis, the same guy will appear. So he is in quadrant 3, and we're moving him to quadrant 2. So I'm going to look. C is 1, 2, 3 below, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3 above. So there's my new C. I'm going to write out my coordinates out to the side. So my new C is negative 3, 3. My new B is 1, 2, 3 below, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3 above. So there's B prime, and his new coordinates are negative 6, positive 3. So I write that out. My new D is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 below, so my new one's going to be 9 above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's D prime, and he is at negative 3, positive 9. And my old A was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units below. So we're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units above. And my quadrant 2 is in the way, but I still know where that is. So he is at negative 9, 6. So I'm going to look at these points and see if any of these match. A says 6, negative 3. Well, we have negative 6, positive 3, so that does not work. B says 9, negative 3. We have negative 3, 9. They're trying to trick us. C says negative 6, 9. Nope. D says negative 3, 3. I look up. That matches with my C prime, so I'm going to circle D and put it in my answer. Now you try. Number 4 says, which ordered pair lies in quadrant 2 and is contained within both the circle and the triangle? So the first thing I look at is I see we have quadrant 2. And I'm smart. I know my quadrant, so I'm going to label 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're looking at quadrant 2, so we are looking at this guy. So I'm going to read my ordered pairs. A says 1, 2. So I go up to 1, 2. All right, well that's in quadrant 1, not quadrant 2. Even though it does meet our criteria of circle and triangle, we're not in quadrant 2. B says negative 2, positive 3, So that I know that's my x and that's my y, so I plot it right there, put a little b. And that is in both, but I need to go through my answers just in case. C says -1, +5, so I see -1 is my x. Ooh. +5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is my y. That's my C. And he is in the circle, but not in the triangle. And I need both. D says -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -2, 1, 2. He is not only not in my circle and triangle, he is in quadrant 3. So no. I'm going to go with B. Now you try. Make sure you remember to label your quadrants. On number 7, this was another very commonly missed one. It says the vertices of a triangle are -1, 5, -2, 1, -4, 2. Which grid represents the result of reflecting the triangle across the y-axis? All right, so there's two ways you can approach this. Way number 1, we know that if we're reflecting across the y-axis, our y is staying the same and our x is changing. So we can just go make new points. So that would be 1, 5, 2, we have an inverse x and the same y, 2, 1, and 4, 2. So I would know that my new, that does not look like a 2. I would know that my new triangle would have to meet these points. Way number 2. I can graph my old points and then physically reflect it across the y-axis. Let's work with both and we'll see if they match up. So my old points would be -1, 5, -2, +1, -4, +2. So that's my old triangle. Looks kind of funky. And I'm reflecting it across the y-axis. So that means everything is moving this way. So my new guy is 1 away, so he'll be right here. Let's check, does that match 1, 5? We're good to go. This one was 2 away, so we're going to put him right here. That is 2, 1, just like this one was. Good to go. And this guy is 4 away, so he's going to be 4 on this side. And that is 4, 2, just like this one that I made. So I know my new triangle, I'll color him green, is right here. Which one of these pictures shows him? Well, A, we're reflecting across the x-axis, so it's not A. B, that was a translation, not a reflection, so it can't be B. C looks pretty much like my new triangle that I made, and it has all the same points. I'm going to put a maybe by it. D, that was a reflection over the origin, so can't be D. I'm going to circle C and go with that. Alrighty guys, your last most commonly missed one was number 9. And number 9 says, which situation does not match the equation below? Alright, so before I even get started, I'm going to underline this not. So I know there's going to be 3 yes and 1 no. And I want that 1 no. So I look at this guy. My equation says 0.1g equals 2.3. So I'm trying to match that. A says Marcus is putting dimes in a parking meter. Each dime provides an hour of parking. If Marcus has paid a total of $2.30, what is G, the total number of hours he can leave his car in the parking lot? All right, I look at this and I see dimes. I know that dimes are worth 10 cents, and 10 cents is 1/10 of a dollar, and I can write that as 0.1. So we have 0.1 times the number of dimes, 0.1 is my amount of my dime, times the number of hours has to equal a total of $2.30. All right, so does that match my equation? Yeah, so I cannot have A. B says The manager at a grocery store has agreed to donate to charity 1/10 of the store's revenue last month. Before I even go any further, I know 1/10 is the same as 0.1 in decimal form, so I'm just going to write that there before I forget. If the store has donated $2.3 million to charity, what is G, the store's total revenue last month in millions? So I see that this is in millions and this is in millions, so I can use my 2.3. So if it's donating 1/10, I know that of, and G is the store's revenue. Of means to multiply. So 1/10 of G, that's 1/10 times 3, needs to equal a total of 2.3 million. So I see that guy works, not B. Because he's a yes, he's a yes. C says Nolan used 1/10 pound of flour to make gumbo. So I see this 1/10 and I'm like, all right, we're pretty good to go. That's 0.1. Then he weighed the bag of flour and recorded the weight as 2.3 pounds. What is G, the total amount of flour in the bag before he used some for the gumbo? All right, so if it says what is G, the total amount before, this is kind of giving me some clues that this is probably going to be a subtraction problem. But I see right here it says of, and of does mean to multiply. So we have 1/10 of the gumbo, so that's 0.1 G. And then my total weight was 2.3 pounds. So I'm thinking, oh, this is kind of matching. But then it says, what is G, the total amount before? So I'm going to have to take the amount of flour, subtract out the amount he used for gumbo, and that needs to equal 2.3 pounds. Because it has subtraction in it, it does not match my case before. But just in case I'm messing up, I'm going to put an M by it. Maybe. I'm going to go back to that guy a little bit later. D says Jacqueline bought a bag of chocolate truffles at the sweet shop. The total weight of her bag is 2.3 kilograms. So I know this is total, so it's probably going to be after the equal sign. If each chocolate truffle weighs 0.1 kilograms, what is G, the total number of chocolate truffles Jacqueline bought? So I know that each truffle weighs 0.1, and G is what each truffle weighs. That means that that's probably going to be a multiplication problem. So we have 0.1 times the number of truffles, G, needs to equal a total of 2.3. And I look up, that matches my problem, so it's not going to be D, so I'm going to go with C. Now you try.